Okay, guys, I know the last like 5 or 6 videos I've done has been on the blue Okara, and as you can tell, he's doing so much better. You can see how he's swimming around. He wants to eat, obviously, but that's the first thing I noticed, that his appetite is back, and that's a good sign. Um, and you can see his buddy down here. Actually, I can't even tell the difference between the two, but you can see he's swimming on the top. He wants to eat. His color looks great. He's back. So you know, just to give you guys a little tip, if you have aquariums and you see one of your fish is sick, just remember, take your time, don't panic. Um, there's a solution, but I think the best way to fix the fish, or to um, the best solution, or the best way to solve a problem with a fish that's sick, is set up a quarantine tank. Always have it on hand. You don't always have to have it set up. But in this tank here, we got the gold barb, which, if you can't really see, the light's not on there, but if you look closely, he's doing much better. The red spots are gone. And again, we treated him with Canaplex too. Canaplex is a really good product to have, and I know someone said promotion, but I don't promote anything. I don't. I just use whatever works for me. Canaplex works for a bunch of bunch of fish issues, like illnesses, such as I believe this one treats dropsy, septicemia, Popeye, stuff like that. So it does work. I can tell you right now, this is the third dosage. He's on a third dosage. He does not like being quarantined. He's not too happy about it, but he's better. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't do any promotions, but these these fish were treated with Canaplex. Um, and you can see, I just show you another video, and I'll show you another picture. See the way he's swimming? He looks completely fine. Not perfect, but he's a lot better than he was. So we know that it must have been something that he might have been eating too much. But we're going to cut down the feeding. And this guy, as I said, he had septicemia, so we're going to do one more treatment. Actually, we're going to do a water change tomorrow. Then we're going to treat him with salt, and then we're going to put him back in the tank. Unfortunately, guys, and like I said, getting back to this, and I'll say one more thing, and then I want to tell you what I want to talk about. This Canaplex, like I said, it's a medication, um, mostly for diseases like Popeye, um, septicemia, dropsy, and there's one other issue that it treats too. Off the top of my head, um, but one thing, when you are in a fish, look at all that, grow a lot. Anyway, uh, water wisteria all over the place, guys. Anyway, yeah, definitely, if you see your fish have Popeye, or um, I've had some horrible problems with Popeye, but I haven't used it for Popeye yet. But apparently, it works for diseases like that. So, and there's one more, and I don't know off the top of my head: dropsy, septicemia, and Popeye, and I don't know what the other one is. But anyway, I'll make a little snippet at the end of the video. I'll tell you which one it is. But definitely keep this on hand. There's a couple of really important medications you want: General Cure, Canaplex, and I also like to keep ICX. Those are like the main ones, and then Maricin also is a good one if you're quarantining fish. Maricin 1 and 2, I keep them on hand too if I have extra money in the business. If I notice that I'm need, um, some if I have extra money, I definitely go to the store and get some Maricin. Always want to keep that stuff on hand. So anyway, guys, um, that's the gold barb is being treated. Now, the one thing I want to say is um, you do want to be careful um, with your water changes when you're doing when you don't have a tester for your water, because you want to always want to check your chlorine. I think that's what happened with um, with this fish here. Might have got a chlorine burn. So anyway, getting back into it, that's what I treated. I did want to tell you guys about the 125, but let me. My wife is home, and let me stop it right now, and I'll finish it up later. Okay. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. I had to finish the conversation with my wife, and this is the next day. As you can see, the gold barb is still being treated, and I wanted to continue what I was talking about with medication, um, and just the overall um, way we treat fish if they get sick. Now, I always tell people to have a quarantine tank ready. It doesn't have to be set up, but you always want to have it ready. So this tank here, it is ready. It was ready. I had it downstairs. I added it into this fish garage because I was taking fish downstairs in the quarantine basement or the fish nook. I wanted to have a tank up here, so I did that. I hooked up a heater, and pretty much the life system is already on. This is the life system of other tanks that I run sponge filters off. So I just take that. I added a line, put it right in there, and as you can see, I have two lines in there. I like to have a lot of air movement when you're doing treatments on fish. I like to have at least two. And this is the both sponge filters, but I like to have at least two sources of oxygen for the fish when you treat them. Okay. Now this tank got a water change today, so you can see I put the ceramic media down here. I always use carbon whenever I'm um, trying to get medication out of the water. I do use carbon if I'm low on any type of dechlorinator. Um, if I'm doing water changes, I make sure that I add some carbon if I have to. Okay. Some of these tanks have them, some of them don't. If I'm running plants, I don't. This tank, I added some carbon to it today. I also treated this tank with some salt. I did a water change too. We did a water change in this tank, this one, and one downstairs where the Severns are, who are quarantining still. So um, carbon's good to have if you're treating a whole tank for medication, or even if you're using quarantine, if you want to get rid of the medication, or if you have any impurities in the water. And of course, carbon isn't only used in fish tanks; it's used in other sources of water filtration, and any type of water maintenance or water management. Um, they use carbon, believe it or not, and it's good. It's a good thing to have, especially if you're dealing with water and any impurities come in your fish tank. If you have livestock, you want to make sure that you have carbon to treat the water. That's the word I was using, treatment. It's always good to have it. The water treatment plants use carbon a lot, so it's always good to have on hand. Also, another good thing to have on hand, like I said, is the quarantine tank, and you want to have some good medication, just like a Maricin or a Canaplex. Erythromycin is good to have on hand. I like to keep General Cure if I got new fish and I'm treating for parasites. I like to use Expel P and General Cure. Paracleanse is a good one too to use if you're doing that. Prazipro is good if you have parasites, internal or external. You can use it for. I use it for lice, fish lice. You do get on occasion. If you're, it all depends how you taking care of your tanks. Um, that stuff you want to have. Prazipro, also, like I just said, is good for internal parasites. Um, I like ICX too if you have ick problem. But you could also use that for other treatments too. It's actually a good treatment to have. Those type of medications you want to have. But the main ones that you want to have are Canaplex and Maricin, anything that treats bacterial or fungal. Now, the Canaplex, in a continuation from yesterday, treats fin and tail rot, septicemia, which does happen when your fish gets, let's say if your fish gets sick, or say if your fish gets a cut and you don't have any antibiotics, you don't have anything that, the cut opens up, just like you're at home. If you don't have a stuff like a Canaplex or even like a Maricin, you're going to have issues. So those medications I mentioned are the key ones you want to have. And I like to keep Canaplex, Maricin on hand, General Cure, and I used to use Melafix, but I stopped using Melafix. I don't like to use that, but I do like to use the Maricin is like my go-to, and salt. I always have salt. You don't have to get aquarium salt. I use regular salt. I'll show you what I use. This is just regular sea salt. You don't want to make sure it just says salt on the ingredients. Don't want to use anything with caking ingredients or anything like that. So just make sure that you're I dropped this thing here. Make sure you're using that. It's always good to have. And of course, you have to have a test kit. So stuff you want to buy. And like I said, the Canaplex does work. You can see it worked on my fish. And you just got to be careful not to overdo it. Now, you can treat fish in the tank if multiple fish have it, or if you don't want to move a fish. But like I said, just make sure you have carbon on hand to get rid of that medication right away when you're done treating. I personally like to have a quarantine tank, but it does a fish like this one here. Got some issues going on. I don't know what it is, but we're going to try treating it in the tank. We're going to do water changes, salt, and I put some carbon in there. So we'll see if he gets better. I'll keep an eye on. If it doesn't, then we'll have to get. Usually Congo tetras don't get sick, but he's actually looking better than he did before. So he looks like he has some kind of thing with his mouth, but the angelfish get that too. So that's pretty much it, guys. As far as the treatments are concerned, like I said, the three ones I keep on hand all the time: ICX, Canaplex, and Maricin. Maricin 1 and 2. Always have that on hand. You also just want to make sure you be careful that these medications that you're using do not mess up your cycle. So you just want to make sure you keep an eye on your cycle. If you got to do a water change every day, just to keep your cycle, or if you got to put extra ceramic media in there or use a filter from another tank, don't want to lose that cycle. And that's one of the most important things, and one of the other reasons why you want to use a quarantine tank, because you don't want to have an issue where you're treating the tank and then the cycle crashes and your whole tank crashes. So 9 times out of 10, I will treat in a quarantine tank, depending on the size of the fish. Okay, I don't have anything smaller than a 15-gallon for quarantine. So anyway, any more questions about that, you could always put it in the comments and I'll answer them. Now, the one thing I wanted to get into real quick, and this is going to be it, the last 2 minutes I'll talk about this, is I'm very frustrated in the hobby. There's sometimes you come to the point where you get frustrated. I'm at that point right now because I had an opportunity to get a 125-gallon tank, and again, something happened, and my car got check engine light, and I got to fix it. So I had everything set up to go. I was going to come out there, had somebody help me drive, and it all came crashing down when I drove my car to the pool hall one night, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, oh, shit. Check engine light's on, and then it's a knock sensor, so I need to replace it. I can't really drive the car unless I fix it. So it's just frustrating because, this is a time where, I actually want to cut down the tanks I have, try to downsize. And I want to get these guys into a bigger tank, the Baylor Sharks. And if I don't get a bigger tank here in the next couple months, I'm going to give it to the end of the summer. if I don't get another tank, then we're gonna have to move these fish, and we're gonna have to get them out of here. I do want to downsize. I want to get rid of about 6 tanks, including these 20-gallon longs. I've never had any success with. If I was more of a, guy who liked, the plants and who liked the aquascape, I would probably keep the 20-gallon longs, but I've never had any success with them. So we're gonna move these fish to either a 20-gallon high or 30-gallon. We're not sure yet, but we're gonna get rid of this tank eventually. And the 55-gallon, we want to switch to a 125. And I got about 6 tanks downstairs I want to get rid of. And I don't want. I want to have maybe 3 quarantine tanks, and then keep a 20-gallon here and there. I'm gonna make a pond outside. I'm gonna keep a pond stationary outside. But yeah, I'm very frustrated with the hobby. I don't know how much longer I could wait, get another tank. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be in the hobby. But it's nothing to do with with the love of the fish. It's just the matter of me doing this by myself and having a heart condition. I don't get a lot of help with the fish. I'm not gonna blame anybody, but I'll just say that I'm by myself, and I have a hard time doing this stuff by myself, and including getting another tank. I need somebody to come help me. I need someone to lift the tank. I need someone to drive me out there to get it because I don't have a truck. So that's the frustration I'm in. I've been through this before. I've actually got out of the hobby and I only had 1 tank. So I do this on occasion. And I don't want to get out of the hobby, but like I said, it's gotten to the point where I'm frustrated. And if I can't get a 125 by the end of the summer, I'm probably gonna get rid of some tanks and some fish and just downsize a different way. Maybe just get rid of this whole wall of tanks right here, 55 and a 20-gallon, and then do some other stuff that my wife wants to put in here. I don't know, but it comes a time where it's if it becomes an inconvenience, then you have to move on. So that's where I'm at, guys. I hope it doesn't get to that, but I wanted to explain to you guys that I'm kind of frustrated right now, and I need to get on board with getting these fish moved, and because I don't think it's fair for fish to be living in an environment where it's not, the greatest. They should have the best life. That's any living creature should have the best life. So I'm just showing you pretty much the fish room. That's the fish garage, guys. I'll eventually move the 20-gallon and the 40-gallon downstairs, and like I said, either I put a 125 behind me, or we get rid of those tanks completely. So we'll see what happens. That's what's going to happen in the future. So till next time, remember, if you can't own them, rehome them. That's what we're going to have to do if we can't get a bigger tank. Like I said, it's always about the fish. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do. We'll see you next time.